June 28th, the big movie release, Kevin Costner's latest epic, Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1, and one of the stars of the film I'm very familiar with and didn't realize he was, as an accomplished actor as he is. We say hello to Ariel Llinas. Hi, Ariel.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Ariel, it's really great to talk to you, and it's really fun to watch you on your social media and the adventures you're on and the growth you're on as an actor and the exceptional opportunities you're being afforded, especially on this new Kevin Costner film. We'll get to all of that here in just a second. But first, how's the family? How are the dogs? How's the wife?
Everything is great. Couldn't ask for a better life. I've been very lucky, very, very blessed.
Yeah, excellent. Born in Colombia, raised in Queens. As a kid in Queens, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, man, to tell you the truth, I wanted to be an oceanographer.
Shut up. We should talk because that's what I wanted to be. I was a commercial fisherman before I got into radio, and I had all intentions of becoming an oceanographer.
Yeah, I was even researching going to a school on Rockaway Beach. I got the name of the school, but as I got older, that dissipated, and that dream did not become a reality.
Sure.
Then, when I was of college age, get this, I wanted to be an actor. So I approached everybody that I knew, family, friends, and I told them my plan. I said, I want to go to school and I want to study acting. And then everybody pretty much laughed at me. Huh. And then everybody said, what are you going to go out to Hollywood and become a waiter? It's along the lines of that. It's somewhere really bad.
Sure.
Even my father kind of laughed it off. So I kind of went by what everybody, what their ceiling was. And I said to myself, yeah, that's silly. Why would I even think about that? So I went to school and I studied marketing.
Okay. Which kind of led you to something you're currently still doing. You've got a very successful automotive marketing firm, because that's how you and I first met, because you have the persona. A lot of my listeners are going to know you as Dylan Don, who we have a lot of times out of our car remotes. Was this like your idea to give life to this business?
No, to tell you the truth, it's weird the way things happen in life. So halfway through my degree, a friend of mine called me up and said, hey, come work with me. I work for the Health and Tennis Corporation of America. You can make this much money. Back then, the starting salary of a marketing student was about $18,000. He offered me much more, and so I dropped out. Okay. So I got into the Health and Tennis Corporation of America, worked really hard, and just like you said, I was making money. But then I got into surfing. And then I started going on surfing vacations. And then my third surfing vacation out to California, I just said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to move out here. I'm going to save money. So I moved out to California, got myself a bartending personal training job. And that's how I got into acting. Because one day I was working out at the gym and somebody approached me and asked me if I wanted to be asked me first if I was a model or an actor. And all the alarms went off in my head.
I get that all the time. I mean.
And I said, no, I want to be a hand model. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
So he gave me his information, and lo and behold, 3 days later, I came across his number, and I decided to call him up to see what kind of scam he was pulling. But he turned out to be totally legitimate. So I got my first acting gig on The Young and the Restless. There wasn't even any dialogue, to tell you the truth. Okay. It was just me on the runway. They needed a Latino model.
Sure.
It was me on the runway. And then they asked me if I wanted to keep coming back and doing extra work. And I was like, yeah, why not? So during that time, I got myself a bartending job. I was personal training. And a friend of a friend was selling cars on the weekend. And he was making a certain amount of money. And I was, hey, get me involved in that.
Right.
And when I got involved, it was part-time work, and I worked for a couple of years in that. And one time during the course of one of my travel, because we traveled all over the country doing these, the event coordinator got sick, so he couldn't come into work. And the other coordinator, these guys had to work the microphone, and they had to get on stage. It's almost like an auction kind of thing.
Okay.
So, and I told the boss of the boss, I said, hey, look, listen, I'm an actor. You guys don't need to panic. I'm not afraid to get on the microphone. And lo and behold, I got on the microphone. 2 days later, we sold 75 cars. And the company that the guy worked for, the guy that I replaced, during that weekend, called me up that Monday and offered me a job. And that was a marketing company. It was a marketing company that adhered to just car dealerships.
Yep.
And they started training me, and lo and behold, a few years later, I opened up my own business.
What a crazy story! And Dylan Don was born, right?
Well, actually, Dealing Don wasn't born just yet. Before Dealing Don was born, Don Remate was born in El
Oh,
Paso.
okay.
So what happened back in the day, we would have to wear name tags, right?
Yep.
And I would wear the name tag Don Remate, which means the dawn of savings in Spanish.
Okay.
And people would come up to me and say, "Hey, Don, I need this. Don, I need that." So everybody just dubbed me Don. And next thing you know, country radio station, I forget what country radio station, goes, "Hey, Don, we need you to get on the air. Come on, Dealing Don." And boom, they gave me my name, Dealing Don.
Isn't that great?
Years ago in El Paso.
I love it. Now, we can't really talk much about the film and reveal any of the plot, but can you kind of give me an idea? You play Mike Conley in the film. Oddly enough, one of the first guys I worked with in radio, his name was Mike Conley. Good dude. Mike Conley, your character, can you give us kind of some idea of what he's like?
This is, he wants to portray different lives and going from east to west back in the old days. You know, what everybody had to go through. You know, there were good people, there were bad people.
Sure.
There were people that just in the middle. And this guy, Mike Connolly, is a survivor.
Okay. What was it like auditioning for this part?
It was the weirdest thing in the world. The weirdest. Okay. It was right after lockdown, right? Right after COVID.
Sure.
Right? Auditioning changed. Back in the day, you would go, you would get called in, you drive into Hollywood. I live about half an hour outside of Hollywood. You would drive in, you get an appointment, you know, you go audition, they put you on tape, then you drive back home. And then you either hear from them or you don't hear from them.
Right.
Well, the first audition I had for Horizon and many others that I had were done out of my house. So they had us self-taping on our own iPhones. And of course, we would have to read with them. They give you the material to read.
Right.
And then you'd send the tape in via, the internet.
Right.
So my first one, it was a couple of lines. I think it was for the Mexican Scout.
Okay.
He needed a Mexican Scout in the movie. And then I didn't hear anything. And then a couple of weeks later, the casting director sends me some more materials. "Hey, we would like you to read for this one, this character." And I was like, okay. And I read for that character. It was a juicier role than the first one I had read for. And after that audition, I didn't hear anything.
Wow.
A couple of weeks later, casting director sends me an email. "Hey, the director is very interested in you, wants you to start growing your beard as long as you can."
Huh.
And I thought to myself, oh, okay. That was kind of a weird request, but he's interested in me. I didn't even know who the director was at that time.
Okay.
Yeah. So if he's interested in me, okay, fine. So then a few weeks later, they sent me another audition, but this time it was 12 pages of dialogue. And they want me to do it with an Irish brogue. And I was like, what?
Wow.
An Irish, what the heck? And so I had to rehearse. I had to call back, my ex-girlfriend, Patty, in New York. You know, she's Irish, and her whole family they've got the brogue going. And they helped me out with all the dialogue. And they spoke it, and then I just imitated. And then I did my audition, and I sent it in. Didn't hear anything. I said, yeah, I must have messed that one up.
Hey, look, a Colombian guy doing an Irish brogue. It's believable. It's believable.
And then a few weeks later, I get another audition request from the same casting director. Say, "Hey, this time we want you to read for this role, and we would like you to do. We would like you to do it with an Uplander accent." I said, "An Uplander? What the heck?"
Wow.
Okay, I just said yes immediately.
Sure.
I didn't even know what Uplander was.
You were going to figure it out, though.
Yeah, well, I started Googling, and I couldn't find anything. The only thing I could find was like Finnish,
okay.
Right? And I was like, God, why would they? I mean, why would they? I don't look anything at all like these people. Why would they want me to do a Finnish accent, right? So I said, well, what the heck? I'm going to do it anyway. But then I kept on Googling, and I Googled pioneers in the Finnish back in the day, and like the really north of Finland. It's almost like they look like almost Mongolian.
Okay.
They've got these Asian-looking eyes like I do.
Okay.
And tough-looking skin. I said, oh, okay, I get it. Okay, I look a little bit like this character, like these people. Okay,
right.
Okay, fine. So I did the accent, right? Sent that in. Month goes by, I hear nothing. And then I called my agent up. Hey, what's going on? And then she called them up. She called me back. They're very interested in you. They just want to know that you kept growing your beard. And I said, yeah, I kept growing my beard. And then I said, well, who's the director? And then they said, well, Kevin Costner. I said, what? What? Kevin Costner wants me to grow my beard. And I was like, okay. And then like a week later, I did another audition for the same movie.
Right.
But this time they want me to do it with a Spaniard accent.
Oh, God.
And then I said, oh, okay. They're finally realizing, that I'm Latino.
Right.
And I said, I can do that. So I sent that audition in. And then crickets, dude. I didn't hear anything, nothing.
Did you feel like somebody was messing with you?
Yes, I did. I did, because it's all done, through, even though the casting director is legitimate, my agent's legitimate, I still felt like somebody was pulling the wool over me. Right?
Sure, sure.
And then I got on the horn. I told, hey, you know what? Can you call these people up? Because my beard's really long now.
Right.
I'm looking like Rip Van Dyke Winkle. And so she called them up, and then she was like, they apologize. They say, do not shave. They repeat, do not shave. They're interested in you. The Kevin Costner's interested in you. He's just trying to find you a role in his movie. So they gave me my work dates, right?
Yep.
And I said, okay, fine. What character that I read for am I playing? And then nothing. I heard crickets. A week later, they sent me the script, and they said, you're playing the role of Mike. At that time, I was like, okay, fine.
Sure.
I go to Utah, right? I haven't met anybody yet. I haven't met casting in person. The only people I got to meet before I actually got on set was wardrobe and makeup.
Right.
And then they drove me up 10,000 feet up in this mountain somewhere in Moab, Utah.
Right.
And I'm on top of the hill, and I see down below me, about 50 yards down, I see Jenna Malone. I hear Kevin Costner's voice and Mike Arengano. And then he looks up at me from down there, and he starts walking briskly up.
Oh, dear God.
And he's coming towards me, and he yells out my name, Ariel, I'm so glad you're here. And he comes up to me. I was nervous as heck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a scene with Jenna Malone and Mike Arengano. It's two established, very established actors. And I've got Kevin Costner yelling out my name on top of the hill. So it was surreal for me, right?
Absolutely.
But he comes up to me. He makes me feel so comfortable. He's so welcoming. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so sorry about everything that happened. I was like, what happened? He goes, all those auditions they put you through. And I said, oh, no. He said, I just needed to find the right role for you. And doggone it, we found it. And I was like, all right, fine, cool. And he relaxed me immediately.
Nice.
A little while later, we started rehearsing, Jenna Malone and Mike Arengano and me. And during the rehearsal, now this is horizon number one.
Right.
And during the rehearsal, he stopped. He was, hey, okay, cut. And he approached me, and right in front of Jenna Malone and Mike Arengano, he said, Ariel, I don't want you to play him that way. And I know the reason why you're playing him that way, but here's the reason why. Because in movie number 2, you turned into this. And I said, what? At that point, I didn't even know I was in movie number 2.
Sure.
And he just hit me with a left hook. And I was like, it was surreal for me. And like Jenna Malone looked up, and Mike Arengano, he goes, you're in movie number 2?
That's fantastic.
So it was surreal for me. And then I knew which direction he wanted me to go with the character, and I went that way.
That is just an incredible story. Would you say this is your biggest role of your life so far?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, most definitely. And then the second movie, I played opposite Kevin himself.
Okay. Wow. See, and this is what I love about what Kevin Costner is doing. This isn't James Cameron Avatar where you wait 15 years for the next one. This is like months apart, June and then August, right?
Yep. And he would have had 3 and 4 if it wasn't for the strikes. So in the second movie, and I was completely flabbergasted when he told me this. So in the second movie, we were filming at night. It was like we were doing night shoots, and him and my scene. We started at 1:00 in the morning. We finished at 4:00 in the morning. Of course, because we had to do different angles with the camera.
Right.
But he had this little fire going, and he said, "Hey, Aaron," we took a break. It was, this is around 1:30. Come over, sit over here, sit by the fire. It's nice and warm. So I sat down next to Kevin Costner by the fire.
Wow.
And I said to myself, you know what? I have to ask him. I'm not going to let this go by. And then I turned to him and said, hey, Kevin, which of my auditions did you clinch the role for me in this movie? And he said, the first one. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, the first one. He goes, I was prepared to give you each and every one of those roles. But every time I was going to commit to you to give you that role, a big name would come and scoop that role up. And then he mentioned a couple of the names that scooped those roles up for me, and I was completely flabbergasted.
Wow.
And I started looking into a different direction, thinking, "Oh my goodness, I could have been that character."
Yeah.
Because that one character goes through all the four movies, and it was, he had a lot of juicy dialogue, and then he mistook my awe for being crapped out, and he sort of tapped me. He goes, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." He goes, and then he mistook it. He thought I was crapped out. He goes, "Are you are you happy you're in the movie with me? I mean, is everything okay?" And I said, "Kevin, I couldn't be happier.
Right.
You gave me this opportunity. This is probably the epitome of my acting career right
Unbelievable.
now."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he smiled and he said, "No, don't worry. After this movie comes out, you'll get more."
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I was going to ask, this is going to open some doors, right?
I hope, dude, I hope. Every time I book a really big job, I say to myself, "Okay, this is it. This is going to catapult me to the next level."
Yeah.
But it hasn't happened yet. So hopefully this time around. But if it doesn't happen, it's a good credit to have. It was a great experience.
Absolutely. And I mean, Kevin Costner sounds like he likes you. So, I mean, if you need a reference, you could probably get one from him.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he's also building studios in Utah.
Is he? Wow. Okay.
St. George. He's building he's moving out of Hollywood. He doesn't want to do the Hollywood thing anymore.
Sure.
He wants to film his movies in Utah.
Okay. All right. So he's got plans. He's definitely got plans. So, a couple other questions just to kind of find out a little bit about you. Ever done a death scene, and how hard is it to perfect, like dying and making it look real?
I've done one on camera death scene.
Okay.
And I played a drug dealer who was making a drug deal on the public phone, and somebody came up to me and shot me.
Oh.
No, I didn't. Normally a bad actor would, the guy takes out the gun, the guy pulls the bullet, and,
Sure.
shoots, and then the bad actor would just fall to the ground, with his eyes closed.
Right.
But I knew that wasn't the case. And not that I've seen many people killed,
Sure.
Sure. Well, not that I've seen anybody killed.
But you got to research the role and how to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
But I knew then that I just couldn't, just close my eyes and fall on the floor. So it was in stages. When you get shot, you don't feel it coming. You don't feel a shot.
Right.
You supposedly don't feel it, and then all of a sudden you do feel it,
right.
And then you come to a realization you've been shot, and then all of a sudden you start losing your blood. So I did it in stages,
okay.
And the director liked it.
Okay. I probably could have been an actor, Ariel, if not for the kissing.
But you are.
Well, no, listen.
You're a voice actor.
Yes, voice actor. Yes,
the fluctuations in your voice.
My landlord back in Virginia owned a little community theater, and she wanted me to play the lead in the historical play Tom Jones. And I had no idea about the role. I told her I wasn't an actor, but she thought I would be great for it, so I auditioned for it, and I got it. So first night rehearsals, there's a kissing scene, and I was painfully shy. And I'm like, can't do it. You got to give it to the understudy. I'm out. Couldn't do it. Could not do a kissing scene. If I ever got asked to be back in acting again and was asked to do a kissing scene, got any advice for me?
Well, that's funny you say that, because I just finished doing a movie with Neil McDonough.
Okay.
You know who Neil McDonough is?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, we just did a movie called Homestead.
Okay.
And he is a very religious man, Catholic.
Sure.
He's married. He's got I think 4 kids.
Okay.
And about 10 years ago, he was asked to do a kissing scene in Hollywood.
Right.
And he told the director, "I can't do that."
Mm.
And the director was like, "Why?" And he said, "Well, I'm married, and under God's eyes, I can't cheat on my wife."
Right.
And the director says, you do the scene or you're fired." Well, lo and behold, he couldn't do the scene.
Wow.
So they fired him.
Wow.
And they blacklisted him from Hollywood. Yep. Hollywood would not hire him anymore. So, but then 3 years later, he made a comeback little by little, and now he's on fire. I think that kind of stuff is personal. I mean, if you cannot do a kissing scene for whatever reason,
right,
you shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
And this is how I feel about kissing scenes and lovemaking scenes
Sure.
on camera.
Sure.
I think, to tell you the truth, if the actors aren't comfortable with it, then insinuate it.
Okay.
Just insinuate it, because we don't need to watch all that to have an entertaining story.
Right.
We really don't. I mean, if we wanted to watch all that lovey-dovey stuff, there's different other different things, what we can watch.
Sure. And
but,
if you're not into it and they still make you do it, it's not going to come across as believable.
Yes,
Right.
actually, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
And then he was interviewing Neil McDonough, and they asked him, well, when you kill people, when you're a bad guy, because he plays a lot of bad guys in the movie,
Sure.
that goes and get against God. He goes, yes, you're absolutely right. But at the end of the day, with those guys that I killed, we'll all go hang out afterwards and go to the bar and have a beer, and we're friends, and nothing ever really happened.
Right.
The woman I kissed on the set, where I made love with on the set,
Right.
we were both lying, sharing a bed together. We were both kissing. That kiss will forever be there.
Yeah. And that's
Makes
it.
a lot of sense.
Sure. Certainly. It's like comparing apples and oranges. It's two different things.
Yeah.
Finally, you would totally fanboy if what actor or actress walked in the room right now?
That'd be Kevin.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I was very starstruck with him.
Oh,
I mean, I've worked with a lot of actors.
Sure.
A lot of actors.
Sure.
Never been really starstruck. But there was one that I worked with that I was completely starstruck because I've been watching him since I was a little kid.
Okay.
Was Peter Falk.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Columbo.
Yeah. Come on. I did a Columbo movie of the week with him years ago
Oh,
before
amazing.
he passed away.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What a treat.
Yeah. I was awestruck by him.
All right. Ariel Llinas, listen, an amazing story of how you came about in this film, Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Chapter 1, the 28th of June, Chapter 2 coming out in August. And I couldn't be happier for you. You play the role of Mike Conley, and I will be there in the front row watching this film. And real quickly, it was at Cannes, and you got the film got a 7-minute standing ovation.
Well, that's kind of confusing because I read different articles, and one article says 11 minutes, and another article says 7 minutes. So I think there was an 11-minute standing ovation before the movie began, or after,
Right.
and then 7 minutes before the movie began, and it's confusing.
Well,
but yeah, there was a standing ovation of at least 7 minutes long.
Nice. Well, can't wait to see what your next role is, Ariel. I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, buddy.